Meetup Committee for 2019 for inviting me, and great to have Dino here as well. So can we have the presentation? So the topic, as was mentioned, is Industry 4.0, and as was mentioned, it's a hot topic, isn't it? And it's a very broad topic. So in the first session, which I will be doing before Dino, I will be talking to you on these three subtopics: digital transformation in the industry, realization of the concept of smart factory, and the big deal for cybersecurity. So I will try to talk on these three topics in a non-technical manner. So it's going to be a non-technical presentation about a technical area. Sorry, I'm giving away all my slides. Okay, so before we look at 4.0, can you tell me what the earlier versions were? 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0, what were they? What is 1.0? I can see someone saying, can you speak out loud so that everyone can hear? Yeah, the industrial revolution, which was powered by coal, right? And the steam engine in the 1760s. So that was 1.0. And then 100 years later, in the 1860s, 2.0 with electricity, electrification. And then again another 100 years later, 3.0 with computers, right? So now we are at the threshold of Industry 4.0. So what is it? Digital transformation in the industry, Industry 4.0, is a significant transformation of the way products are produced owing to the digitization of manufacturing. But not only products, it should include services as well. So the services, the way services are delivered owing to the digitization of systems. Broadly, this is what it means. Which industries do you think Industry 4.0 affects? It's all in all sectors and all industries, right? So it's health, banking, food and agriculture, consumer electronics, the education sector, the list goes on. Everything that we know and touch and feel are transformed. Now here is an example of the banking industry. You can see a Bitcoin ATM machine. I don't think we have these in Sri Lanka yet. Are there any in Sri Lanka yet? No, not yet. So here you can see a Bitcoin ATM machine. Bitcoin, which is like digital currencies. Again, something that is enabled through Industry 4.0 through technologies such as blockchain. There are ATM machines now. Now when I was growing up, in the 1990s, the one next to it where the man is was a big thing. That was a normal ATM machine, automatic teller machine, which gave out currencies. In Sri Lanka, SET, Sampath Electronic SCD, Sampath Electronic Transfer ID, was the first ATM machine, right? But now you have Bitcoin machines. So this is the transformation of the banking industry. And as you know, there's internet banking, and you can do all your banking needs online. So the banking sector is truly being transformed. And then here, of course, the health industry, where you can see that technology such as virtual reality, augmented reality is being used to look at the human body in the health industry. And you know that this sort of technology is even being used to teach students. So they don't have to really cut the bodies to see what's inside. They can use this sort of technology to to learn about the human anatomy. Right? So similarly, I mean, these are just two examples. All the sectors that we that in human society are being transformed. What are the enabling factors? Now this transformation must be fueled by something, right? What are the enabling factors? So here are some of the enabling factors. First is the cumulative effort. What do I mean by the cumulative effort? What I mean here is the fact that people build on things that have been previously built on. Right? So, you know, you have a camera and a phone, and then someone thinks about, okay, how can we combine these together? Right? So they're not going to invent the camera from scratch or the phone from the scratch. They're going to use the technology that's already available, and they're going to build on that. They're not going to reinvent the wheel. Right? So there's a cumulative effect. And that enables this digital transformation to happen faster and faster. Moore's law, you know what that means? In short, it means you can have smaller processors, chips, which are more powerful. Smaller and smaller. The chips are getting smaller and smaller, but they are more and more powerful. Right? Which means faster and powerful machines which can drive this Industry 4.0. Now, I think what he says, Moore is actually the co-founder of Intel. Now, what he said was actually, it doubles about every 2 years, but I think Moore's law is going to change now because I feel that it's happening faster than this. And then, customization. All of us are different. We have different needs. So, technology has to cater to all of us. And for the different needs, you need different sort of technologies. Customization. Now, in Sri Lanka, you don't really see this happening because, you know, Sri Lanka doesn't have a lot of funding, investment for research and development. So, for example, you see like, you know, in roadworks, if you take for an example, they use the same big machine that they would use for a highway to, you know, you do some work in your maybe neighborhood. You know, so they don't have the small machines to work in the small roads. They use the same big machine. So similarly, customization, you know, that's for this sort of thing in technology is not really common in Sri Lanka. But in developed countries, they have the research, the funding for research and development to customize. So this fuels Industry 4.0. And then of course, consumer demand, consumer needs and demand. How many of you would like to get into an Audi Q7 or a Mercedes? So you demand that comfort and luxury from technology. How many of you would like to have a new cool phone or a 49-inch LG TV or I don't know, Sony Bravia or something, right? So we as consumers, we demand, and then this drives Industry 4.0 where companies look for profit and competition, right? So you can see this competition part of it. If you look at, I think the best example is probably mobile phone providers, producers. Apple, Samsung, they come up with a product almost every year, right? So this drives the industry to be transformed, and of course cheap labor. None of this is possible, you know, until the robots take over. The industries have to be driven by humans, and countries like China can provide the cheap labor. So that also drives this transformation. Who are the stakeholders? What do I mean by stakeholders? Past and current. Who are the stakeholders of this Industry 4.0? Is it only the private sector? Because I mentioned about big businesses. Businesses are the ones who are looking at profit and helping people. Is it only the private sector? No. Who else? Public sector, which means the government, and the non-profit sector, and the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. So if you look at public sector, now this is some statistics from comprehensive survey, global survey, which was done in 2016 by the Boston Consulting Group, where they say that around the world people are accessing more digital government services, and the satisfaction is increasing but still varies widely by country and service, and then governments need to keep improving. So the public sector digitization also fuels this industry 4.0, right? And they, of course, the private sector doesn't work in a vacuum, in a country, in a system. The government, the public sector, has a big responsibility to create the environment necessary for the development of the economy. Now, if you look at public sector digitization, it's of course very advanced in the European countries and of course America, Japan, countries like that. Specifically in Europe, in the European Union, the Netherlands and Nordic countries are quite advanced. This public sector digitization is happening very fast in these countries. Nordic countries means Sweden, Denmark, Finland, those countries. And realizing the need or realizing the inevitability of this Industry 4.0, the European Commission has formed a high-level expert group on artificial intelligence to look at trustworthy artificial intelligence made in Europe. So this high-level expert group consisted of about 54 experts, and what they are looking, the two main points in that is the technical robustness and the ethics, values and principles in developing technology. Because you know that a lot of companies like Facebook, Amazon, they are going behind profit, right? So the European Union is very concerned about the well-being of its citizens. So they are looking at how the interface or the interaction between values, ethics and principles when it comes to technology. And also close to home, you have the Aadhaar, that's a unique identification number that is being given to Indians. It's quite a controversial project, but it's a public sector digitization project to give a unique digital identity to each citizen. And then closer at home, in Sri Lanka, you have the ICTA, Information Communication Technology Agency, which is taking the lead in digitizing the Sri Lankan government. If you look at the non-profit sector and the SDGs, again, the non-profit sector also has realized the potential and the inevitability of Industry 4.0, and the United Nations Secretary General's Office, Secretary General, nominated a high-level panel on digital cooperation. This was co-chaired by two people. One was Jack Ma, head of Alibaba, and Melinda Gates. So they were the two co-chairs. And then, of course, efforts to find tech solutions to the SDGs is happening all the time. Most in Sri Lanka, it's probably happening a little bit slow, but in other parts of the world, most agencies, UN agencies and other non-profit agencies are using technologies to deliver their community service projects. And also now in Sri Lanka, very recently, there was one NGO called INGO called Oxfam, which launched a blockchain-based project to insure farmers. So it's happening in Sri Lanka as well. And also the Danida report on the use of blockchain in the development sector. This was launched in December 2017 in Copenhagen, at the UN city in Copenhagen. I was fortunate to be there. And it talks about how blockchain can disrupt the aid sector. Aid means the development sector, non-profit sector, right? So this is also the same. These three main stakeholders are also fueling Industry 4.0. Now, all of this is not just going to happen. There's a cause and effect, right? So what is the impact of digital transformation in the industry? As you can see from this picture, it's a smart city. So you can see it's like a web of interconnected things. So the trade-off is, of course, human and environment. We don't realize it, but us as humans, we are evolving and changing due to technology. Right? One example is these chips which are being implanted in humans. right? Now this is actually happening. This picture is from the South China Morning Post, from 2018, but it shows in Sweden these chips being implanted in Sweden. So this is already happening, right? And it says at the bottom, it's a size of a grain of rice, but could hold the key to many aspects of your life, right? So we are changing, we are becoming part digital. And of course, the environmental impact is huge. What you see here are mining sites. Digitization requires, to produce devices, it requires rare minerals and elements. So to mine them, it's a big operation, and that has a big toll on the environment. So that's just to mine the raw material needed to produce the technology, right? Then once it's being manipulated in the factory, that consumes a lot of energy and pollutes the environment. And then when we use the devices or the technologies, we too use a lot of energy and pollute the environment and the earth. So at all three stages, when the raw material is being mined, when it's being manipulated in a factory to produce, and of course when we use them in devices, and of course other living beings on the planet are also affected, right? So anyway, that's the digital transformation that is happening. Let's look at the second topic, realization of the concept of smart factories. What is a smart factory? According to Bernard Mark, who is a best-selling author and keynote speaker, it is a combination of cyber-physical systems, the Internet of Things and the Internet of Systems, which makes the Industry 4.0 possible, and the smart factory a reality, right? So according to him, he says that our factories will become more efficient and productive and less wasteful. I'm not sure, but according to him. So what are these cyber-physical systems that he's talking about? Are they available, or will it be futuristic? What do you think? Well, let me tell you, it's already happening. This is Intel's Ambient World project. I don't have a lot of time to explain this, but when you have some time, just Google this. And it's quite scary actually. Because what they're talking about, in an ambient world which they want to take human society to, they're talking about convergence, coming together of a rules-based technology world and a society-based human world, connected through artificial intelligence and converged through data intelligence. So this is their model, and this is already happening. They are already looking into it. So one example is that you will have that humans can have a twin, a digital twin, who might execute our wills after we die. So we die, but there's a digital twin, right? So when you have some time, just look into this. So these cyber-physical systems are already being formed. Enabling technologies are, it's just your usual suspects: artificial intelligence, Internet of Things and Systems, big data, robotics, cloud computing, and so on. But what's interesting is actually what's behind these. What's behind the technology behind these, which enables the realization of the smart factories. Who is this? Anyone recognize? He has a name. This is Agile Justin. AJ. What's special about Agile Justin? Looks like a normal robot, right? So, we are used to seeing robots. They are not, it doesn't surprise us much. But what's surprising is that Agile Justin is a robot that sees, acts and learns and was programmed in just one afternoon by the German Aerospace Center using model-based design with MATLAB and Simulate. Right? So this might not be so surprising to us. I mean, you young guys, who are purely about technology at universities, but you say this to your mother or father who is about 50 or 60 years old, be careful, they might get a heart attack. Right? Being able to program a robot in just one afternoon. And also, let's look at some other concrete examples of what's being used in factories. So you know that there's an Iron Man suit? Do you know that this is available? The Iron Man suit? Who watched Avengers? Anyone? No one watched Avengers? One? Okay, boys in the back. Okay. So this is available. Not really. This is available. Now this is called an Iron Man suit. It's an exoskeleton. So as you can see, it fits outside of a human, which enables a human to perform tasks, heavy tasks in a factory. So you might be able to lift things up, move things using that exoskeleton Iron Man suit. Now again, this is not happening in Sri Lanka, but this is available for sale in the US. And there's a company which is promoting this. They're saying that factories and companies should put this, there's a name, I forgot the name of the exoskeleton, this on the payroll. Right? And again, another smart factory. This is a Siemens state-of-the-art electronic works facility in Germany, which integrates its manufacturing products and automation system to process 1.6 billion components from 250 suppliers with 99% reliability. Right? So as you can see, it's a completely smart factory, and it doesn't have the grease and the other stuff that, and there will be heavy men and these strong men with overalls. But you can see it's a completely different type of factory. And this, of course, is the Amazon warehouse. I'm sure you have seen this picture where the robots take the big stacks of the shelves containing the different items. So these are all autonomous robots on the factory floor. So Industry 4.0 offers the opportunity for the manufacturers to optimize their operations quickly and efficiently by knowing what needs attention with the realization of the smart factory. Now how is this done? This is done by connected machines which collects tremendous volumes of data. So data is collected through these machines with sensors which picks up everything, and then that data is analyzed to identify patterns and insights that would be impossible for a human to do in a reasonable time frame. So the data analysis allows for trends and patterns to be established, and that informs the maintenance, performance and other issues. So the industrial internet consists of three components: intelligent machines, the advanced analytics and the people at work. Now for example, one example is where an African gold mine used to collect data from sensors, and then they saved $20 million annually. Right? So this is through the use of technology. Again, there's an impact. What's the impact? Of course, it's labor. It's labor, right? So when the robots, if the machines can talk to each other in a factory, and they are obviously going to replace the humans, right? So there will be people out of jobs, and then the remaining people in the factories, in the industry, will need a different set of skills. They will need a different set of skills to work with the machines. Right? And here's a picture I think if I'm not mistaken, this might be an Amazon factory. I'm not too sure. But it looks like a prison, right? It looks like a prison. And there are stories, not stories, there are facts to say that some of these assembly lines which make electronic devices and other technological devices, the adults, the people who work there are being given adult pampers because they are not given toilet breaks. They have to work in the assembly line, right? So I don't know how smart these factories are, although we call it smart factories. Right, then I move to the third and last subtopic, which is the big deal for cybersecurity. So according to Cisco, a successful cybersecurity approach has multiple layers of protection spread across the computers, networks, programs, or data that one intends to keep safe. In an organization, the people and the machines have to work together to ensure cybersecurity. Right? Now, why is cybersecurity such a big thing? Because everything is being digitized. All our information, everything we use, everything we do is digitized. It's online. Right? Now, if you look at this, just this graph, this is how IoT is expanding exponentially across society. Now, if you look at the left side, you can see that's the number of devices, billions of devices on that axis, on the vertical axis, and the horizontal axis is the year. So you can see in 2003, I think there were probably about 1 billion or so laptops in 2003 according to this graph, and then gradually they increased the smartphones, and then when the smart cities concept came and was implemented in 2016, that went up, and then by 2025 they estimate about 80 billion devices to be connected through the Internet of Things. So now you can understand, get a sense of why cybersecurity is important. Right? Just imagine autonomous cars, if someone can hack in, I'm sure you've seen enough movies where you lose control of your vehicle. Right? So, and also, certain countries, like China, are using technology to become more and more authoritative. Right? So, you probably know that they have a system which recognizes each person's face, and there's a social credit system which gives points to its citizens. Do you know about that? Deepa knows about it. Do you all know about it? Yeah, some of you know about it, right? So, if you cross the road if you jaywalk basically, if you don't cross the road from a crossing, cameras pick it up and gives you demerit points. Now, if you cross it from the crossing, you are given bonus points. So, there are enough cameras in China to recognize each person's face and give points or scores to this social credit system. So imagine like governments, when they gather so much data, that's if there's a compromise, they will lose everything. They will lose their power. They will lose billions of dollars, right? So cybersecurity is very important. And in this example, so apparently this happened a few days ago, I think last week. Hong Kong's protesters use very low-tech technology. Basically, they use masks, like those, the medical masks to cover their faces. But again, I'm sure, China might come up with infrared cameras which can pick up, facial recognition below the mask. There's a video. Can we click this video? It's about a 4-minute video. Just have a look at it. Sorry? हाँ एक लिंक कॉपी कर लगाना हाँ Okay, so I think that video is it's a 4-minute video. You can maybe just go to that site and check it out. It's about how easy actually, easy and difficult at the same time. You watch that video, you will understand. Unfortunately, I can't show it to you. So for whom is this? Now, if you watch the video, you will feel like that cybersecurity is essential for big companies and governments which has a lot of data and money to lose. But that is not so. It could happen to you or me as well. There are so many stories where ransomware hackers have approached individuals. So, for example, this laptop, all my data, they will hold it for ransom. Give me $500, $1,000 by this day, or everything will be deleted. This is happening right now, right? So, you know how when we have a pet, like one of the security questions is remembering the name. So, cybersecurity is bigger than that, and everyone is vulnerable to cyber attacks. And if you look at who has been attacked, it's everybody. States, that means governments, hospitals, police stations, individuals, law firms, newsrooms, all of these have been compromised. Now, in terms of the European Union, if you look at European Union, and I bring these examples from the European Union because it contains a lot of countries and they are quite advanced when it comes to technologies. Is because cyber threats have no borders. Right? Anyone from anywhere. If there's a hacker here, you can probably, hold someone for ransomware somewhere else in the world. So there are no borders for cyber threats, and it's constantly changing and evolving in complexity and maturity. And no single country can tackle alone the cyber threats because they need to, the laws, the legal frameworks need to be supportive of each other. Countries' legal frameworks, right? Now, as I mentioned, the European Union is looking at cybersecurity from the single user point of view. So, have you heard of the GDPR? Yeah, some of you are nodding your head. So, you heard of the General Data Protection Regulation, which came into force I think last year, May, I think, 25th of May. They are looking at, they are saying that security and privacy are two sides of the same coin. And this GDPR, now if you are working with any tech firms or developers or users in Europe, in the European countries, you will need to make sure that you know about the GDPR and you take into consideration where individuals' privacy and data protection is ensured. Right? So the EU looks at cybersecurity from this point of view. And how are they handling cybersecurity? Not by just putting a board to say keep out. Now this is an example I have for you from the Danish Tech Ambassador's office. Now you know that countries like Denmark, they have ambassadors for technology. He's based in Silicon Valley. $250 million investment in cyber and information security. So it's a big business. Because everything, if our human society is going to move into the digital realm, safety and security has to be ensured. And 24/7 Cybersecurity Situation Center, serving both the private and public sector. Cyber attaches. Now these are all new posts that have been created. These are all new posts. There were never cyber attaches at the permanent representations. And cyber advisor to the Danish Tech Ambassador in Silicon Valley. And so it's a big business. And of course, the EU Cybersecurity Act will come into force on the 27th of June. That's tomorrow, right? Is that tomorrow? Yeah, it's tomorrow. And there will be an EU agency for cybersecurity which will have a permanent mandate. Right? Okay, so those are the three topics that I wanted to briefly cover in the time allocated for me. And finally, I just want to mention to you about STAMPEDE, which has been formed to ensure future equality through technology for humanity. And we are trying to work with youth, undergraduates, to give them opportunities to use their technical background for the sake of humanity. So to achieve the sustainable development goals. So if you are interested, go to our, you can email us or you can check us on Facebook or Twitter. Engage with us. There will be some cool competitions where you can win some prizes and actually do some work. You can help the community. You can help yourselves. You can just the private sector after graduating. You can also just know that there is also opportunity for you in the non-profit sector using your technological background. Okay, thank you.